think that youth are are apathetic. Politics, I guess, it's something that it's slightly, it's of a different nature. So maybe some youth are like, I rather focus on community issues or policy issues or national issues, but let's not talk about politics, So, but I think in general, youth do pay attention and are concerned with the bigger things, the major happenings. I'll be very worried if they don't. So, for example, like Japan, the tsunami case, the scale 9.0 earthquake, it showed that actually many of my friends around me, the people, the youth, even including the students that I interact with, they pay keen attention to it. And of course, with some of the major happenings be it in the news or wherever they read about it or know about it, they do pay attention. So, for instance, like the past few days when there's a sudden exposure, all of a sudden they all come and SMS me, hey, I saw you in the news. So I think they do pay attention. It's a matter of whether they step forward to say something or even do something about it. So I think by that, I don't think they're apathetic. But definitely we should do our best to bring them out into the community and play an active role in building and bridging the communities. So I think that the grassroots would play a very good role. The other thing about it is that, young PAP, we've been growing in size. We've grown very significantly, and I think that's a testament to the fact that young Singaporeans are not apathetic.
Okay, just two short questions. What's the greatest regret in your life, and what was the first thing that you wanted to do after you knew that you would become a candidate?
The first thing that I want to do is that, actually, I think both are quite similar. So, the greatest regret is I didn't manage to bring my parents to Universal Studio before that, because I foresee that in the upcoming days it will be very busy, and because I've been in the grassroots, I understand that the schedule for MPs, the commitment is very high. So at the moment I'm not sure whether how soon can I bring my parents to Universal Studio, because I did promise them that I want to bring them there, because my mom is quite excited over it. So I guess when there is a time, I would like to bring them there. Actually, all this time, my parents are very important to me. So I must say I'm glad that before this, I managed to bring them to Italy, where it's somewhere that my father has always dreamed of going. So after so many years of working so hard to raise the family, I managed to fulfill that wish, and I feel very great about it.
When was this?
Oh, in December. Yeah. In November.
How long?
It's about 10 days. Yeah. So it was quite cold, but I know my father was really excited over the wishing fountain and the Colosseum. Yeah. So I thought it was something that I'm really glad I did.
Okay, do you think more can be done to actually tackle this issue of high cost of living among the sandwich class? So that is one of the key issues.
Yeah. I think we can... Oh, sorry. Okay. I think for the sandwich class, I can understand the pressure that they are facing. There are many things that they need to pay for, especially if they have children. Then it's an additional burden to them. But I think in general in Singapore, the government has taken very active steps to keep the inflation down. If anything, there are many subsidies and help around to help Singaporeans cope with the rising costs. And especially, for example, education, it is highly subsidized for all segments of the society in Singapore. So actually the cost of education for the young ones is very low. But of course, I think there will always be room for more help or more improvements in that sense. And for now, with the new budget 2011, we know that there are some measures put in place to help to tackle or cope with the inflation. I would think that let's give it some time, see how things go. If it still crops up, then we can. Then at least we will know what are the specific areas that is very difficult or that is very difficult for the people to deal with, and therefore we can come up with some solutions for that.
If there was one PAP policy that you wanted to change, what would it be?
To be honest, I don't have any specific policies that I feel strongly against. But if anything, what I'm more concerned with is about giving opportunities or creating that conducive environment for the younger Singaporeans, because they represent the future of Singapore. And like I mentioned earlier, I think for some of the children from the families who are less privileged, we should put in more help, more support. It's not just about money. It's really about the social support that we can bring in for them. And of course, for elderly, for healthcare, it's already relatively quite low in cost. It's quite manageable in Singapore. But I think more can be done in terms of encouraging the children and grandchildren to care for their aged parents, because it's not just about helping them in terms of physical needs. That one, it's quite manageable with government's help, with the community help, the many helping hands. But in terms of children's support, it's something that I think is very meaningful and very impactful. It's difficult for any initiative to be put in place to make that. So if anything, I think I'll go on the softer side, that through our education, we need to focus more on values. Cultivate the right values in our young ones, so that they know that at the end of the day, it's not just about grades, it's not just about the material living, the materialistic aspects of living in Singapore, but there's something that's that's more intangible, but very important to us as human beings. So I think these are the two areas that I think I feel strongly for. Yeah.
Going back to your experience with social online, one went as far as viewing vulgarities when confronting the blogger Roxanne. How would you label his reaction to the postings? Would you say it was anti-establishment, being that the attacks were of a personal nature?
I wouldn't. Wait, sorry, just to clarify, when you say label him, his postings means...
his reaction.
Oh, his
How
reaction.
would you label his reaction to the Roxanne posting? He spewed vulgarities online.
I thought that was a bit impulsive. I guess for him, okay, I'm not in a position to comment about him, but I thought that was a little impulsive.
But you are in charge of new media and young PAP.
Yes, I'm in charge of the platforms that we manage on the social media realm. But I think we do encourage our activists to speak their mind, although there are certain boundaries that we need to be mindful of. So, for example, when we talk about being respectful to others, being responsible in our comments, the same should apply to us as well. So, I guess when that happened, it was difficult for us to come in and say, you need to stop that, because it already happened. That's the nature of social media. It's a user-generated kind of platforms. It's difficult for us to police all the time. Most of the time, we can tell them the guidelines. We can tell them what are important, what to look out for. It's not possible to keep a tab on every single person, because we're such a large base. So I think at that point in time, it was likely to have been an act of impulse, and I think that is something that we as activists need to all be very we should be aware of and constantly keep ourselves in check, because if we pride ourselves as being very calibrated, being logical, being asking for responsibility and respect, then we should do the same as well.